This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So we're going to see that, Mongo on what are the platforms it runs. Actually, Mongo is a multi-compatible platform independent. It's a platform independent. It can run on all platforms, in fact. So it can run on Windows, it can run on Unix, it can run on Mac OS, whatever the operating system you have all around. On all operating systems, this product is compatible. So mostly it is preferable to run Unix flavors than other flavors that we have in the market. People do run on the Windows side also, but I do take one class to talk about how do we run the Mongo on Windows machine once. But mostly this product is preferable to run on Unix flavors than Windows side, I would say. The reason behind is, the Unix flavors are code based, they are not wizard based. They won't take the unnecessarily resources by the operating system itself compared to Windows. Windows is wizard based, right? So when you run any product, the OS itself need a good amount of resources out of all what you deployed. So, and also when it reaches 100%, the CPU or memory, Windows side it gets hung up, but Unix side also will hung up, but you can kill it forcibly so that the things can be controlled. So there are limitations. I mean, if you talk about why we need to prefer Unix only than Windows to run the Mongo, basically performance. Performance is better on the Unix flavors than Windows compared to performance wise. So that's the reason many people are absolutely out of Unix background. I do know that. So I just wanted to bring everyone into the same page. People might be working on Unix flavors already. Just bear with me for today and tomorrow at least, so that everyone will come to the same page. There we will pick up the product anyway. So now what we're going to discuss for practice purpose, after this, I'm going to give softwares all that. Don't worry. VMware, where I'm going to share this link. After you pay the fees, you will get the softwares. You just download the VMware, install. It lasts for the like the registration keys. A keys also given, and there is a tool called MobiXterm. This is a tool I use it in the class, in the office, everywhere I go. This is so useful tool. Just on a single machine, you can open multiple sessions, and also you can connect to the hundreds of servers at one go also, and make the activity done. In fact, this tool is very useful. In fact, this particular tool. So mobile, there's a tool called MobiXterm that I posted in the share, which I'm going to give you this link. You can download. You don't have to install operating system. You don't have to be expertised installation wise as a DBA. So what we need to know as a DB, I'm going to cover on the Unix flavor side. I have built a document which covers like in the sequential order where you can just follow it, and that's enough to manage the product and the Unix flavor, in fact. So, I'm going to give this link. You download all of this, all four. You have to extract, install the VMware, extract Linux 02, and then we will connect and do the configuration one-on-one once you guys pay the fees, in fact. Some people already paid. I'll connect to them and I'll do that after the class or today, tomorrow, by tomorrow. Let's start our discussion. What exactly we need to know towards this platform for practice platform. This is what I'm going to give. You just get it, and then you can follow the classes as I'm doing every day anyway. So what do we need to know Unix side to manage the product? So you don't think that you have to be so expertise to manage the product. You don't have to. How you manage the accounts, how you manage the file permissions, how you transfer the files, how you move the files, how you copy the files, how you move the file one server to other server, how you make the like checking the communication between the machines, in fact, how you read the file, how you edit the files, in fact, how you search for the files. So there are few things you need to know as a product by. You don't have to know entire Unix administration to run the product on the platform. You don't have to worry. So if you follow the next two and of classes today and next one and of class today and one more one and of class, that will enough to manage the product on the Unix flavor. So you just follow me. So first thing is, if it is a Unix flavor, you have to, I mean, I'm running the VMware in the background so that it is like a server for me. And this is like a tool is like a client. I'm connecting through the client. I'm going to do the all activities through the client itself. Generic tool for connecting the Unix flavors is Putty. Putty is a basic tool where every session you have to connect with a different time. You have to open it and then connect it. This tool is not like that. You can just open a n number of times on a single server itself, or you connect to the multiple servers also. That is a good thing. Once you connect, for connecting username, user password, I'll give it to you. You don't have to worry about that. Once you connect one-on-one, we will do all of this. That's fine. So when you connect to the machine, by default, you will be landing into your home directory. So PWD, present working directory. PWD means present working directory. By default, there is a folder called home directory in all Unix flavors, whatever, wherever you go. What exactly the home directory? If you come to the Windows, if you come to the C drive, there is a user folder. Whoever connected to this machine, their profile first will be loaded and then session will be opened. The same way in the Unix flavors also, like C users. In Unix flavors also, there is a folder, default folder called home directory. Whoever connected to the server remotely or whoever locally their users exist, you can find them under the home directory, in fact. Okay, home directory. If I go to the home directory and pwd where I am present working directory, I can find ls-l listing the files, or else ls-l. These many users exist on this machine. These are all users, in fact. There are user profiles right now I have in the machine, in fact. So these users are actually created, either created or remotely logged in. You'll find user details under the home directory, in fact. Okay, the same like in a Windows machine, in fact. Once you enter, what you can do under your home directory, you can do anything that you wanted under your profile. So under home directory, you have your own profile. My username is who am I, who am I. This will tell me who connected to the session. Anyway, you can find the username, the server name. Okay, username, server name, where I am connected at the moment, into what directory. So within the Ravinder folder, I can do anything. I cannot go to other user session anyway. So if it is a Windows machine, if I wanted to go to admin here, it generally asks for the administrative privilege. You have to enter the admin username password to read someone else's profile, in fact. Okay, I'm the admin, that's why it is straight away opening it. I'm into Ravinder session, but I'm able to open the admin session also because I'm the administration. When I click the first time also, it will ask the username password. So here also, if you are a sudoer, if you are a sudoer in the Windows, we'll call it administrator who can do anything on the machine with that privilege. In the Unix flavors, sudoer is the user who can do anything on the Unix flavor. Sudoer, administrator, equivalent privilege in the Unix flavor is sudoer, who can do anything anywhere in any under any profile, any directory, in fact. So I'll go to Ravinder directory here, and then here, if I go and check the files, lsfnl, these are the files I have it. Just look at here. If you look at these, our files are given with something in the beginning. Some folders, these are all started with D. D means directory. These are all directories. Wherever you see the D, it is a directory. Directories are browsable. If it is starting with hyphen, in the beginning there is something called hyphen. You see this one, hyphen? This is a file. Files are readable, directories are browsable. The same thing in Windows also. If this is a directory, I can browse it. This is still a directory, right? I can browse it. If it is a file, I can open it. I can read a file. The same way Unix flavor also, directories are browsable, files are readable. How do I say this is a directory or a file? Anything that is starting with the D, when you list out the files, that is a directory. Anything that is starting with hyphen, that is a file straight away. That is a file. So there is a color indication also when you read it. These are all given in different color. Files are given in whenever you see this in white color, this is a file, in fact, straight away. But color is not the indication of it. Maybe platform to platform this can change. What is a default thing you need to identify is this first thing, first letter. D means directory, hyphen means a file. Fine. Come back to here. So PW, present working directory. Command, in fact, so these are all commands, in fact. If I'm running lsfnl, it is a predefined command. It is already programmed in the background. You're calling it and you are executing it. It is giving the intended output. It is a command and instruction to the operating system what you wanted to read out at the moment. So if I clear the screen, if I do this, it is clearing the screen. So clear has an inbuilt program in the background. It is written by the operating system people itself. They embedded the code to clear it out. So a command is an instruction given by user telling a computer to do something. These are all commands what we are discussing. They are predefined commands. Okay, predefined, and they come with the inbuilt with the operating system. So based on the instruction, it is defined in the background. It does the job for us when you run it. In fact, PWD is a present working directory. This is very, very important. Before we delete anything, before we read anything, where we are connected, we have to know that. This we use every second, almost every time we work on the Unix flavors. You need to know where you are connected right now to work on that. There could be some files same under different directories. So you have to be very careful. You are on the right directory before you do any action on the file. For checking where you are connected, PWD is the one we use it, present working directory, which means where you are connected. That you have to run all the time. So if I go into very deeper into root file system, then if I wanted to know where I'm connected, you have to use a PWD only, present working directory. LS is for listing the files. What are the files I have here? So it lists out the files, or else LL also will do the same job. LSFNL or LL. You hit either of that command, it does the same job. Just I can use ls also. Ls, it will only give the file names. It does not give the details about the files. Who is the owner of the file? What is the group owning the this particular file in fact, and what the group privileges, what are the others privileges in fact, right? When it is last modified, this is last modified. Okay, when this last modified or last created. If there is no modification after creation, that is a created time, in fact, you can say. Okay, so if I look at December 20, when this was created, if I go and modify some content on that file 20 something, to modify the content, vi file 20. Okay, insert mode, I'll talk about this today itself, don't worry. I'm just doing some modification to show that the date, something like that. If I do lsf and l, now the file 10, see, October 25, today's date, it is updated. This is the time when the file got updated, the directory got updated, whatever it is, what you see it. The timestamp, the directory files are updated, or the file got updated. This is something good to know that, okay, this file is modified 3 years ago, 10 years ago, which means this file no one is using it. Is it really necessary or not? We can inquire when we get a disk alert, when we know that files when they last modified. If it is recently modified, people are using it. If the modified date is 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe we can inquire about it, why this is lying here when there is no activity on the file at all. Can we clear this to clear the space? That way also it will help us, the last modified time. Even in the Windows also, everything the same thing. The files are folders. When they modified, the date will get updated, similar to that, in fact. Fine. Listing the files. LSFNL or LL, it is absolutely same. Listing the files. There's something called hidden files in Unix flavor also. You have Windows also hidden directories. If I read LSFNLA, this is going to read hidden directories. So dot notation. Anything that start with the dot is a hidden file or directory. Why we need to create a hidden directories? Maybe you are keeping some sensitive data and you don't want to get deleted. Means people generally they use lsf in l only, they don't use lsf in la. So hidden files are intentional. People are hiding it, not to read by all, or they don't want to others to see all the time. In fact, it is intentional. So you should not just delete the hidden files. There should be some reason or purpose behind the scene why they are hiding a file or why hiding a directory. So example, these are these many files, right? I wanted to create a hidden directory. Clear the screen. LSF and LA. You will see all the files here. Oh, come on, it's filling the screen entirely. Fine. So a lot of hidden directories. So I wanted to create SQL DBA folder. Do you have? You have a directory here. Fine. I'll create one directory called MKDR SQL DBA. If I'm straight away creating it, okay, sorry, MKDR SQL DBA 10. Now I can find this under LSFNL. Why I can find that straight away? Because I did not actually hidden it. If I create the same one more directory, dot notation with the dot notation, SQLDBA 100 this time. If I list out that, I cannot find it. I cannot find it because I intentionally made it hidden directory. If I wanted to read that hidden directories, LSFLA is the one you can use it to read the directories. Okay. So generally, as a DBA or anyone, generally they don't hide the directories unless until they wanted intentionally, some reason, basically. Uh, we don't keep hidden directories ourselves, but you need to know that. In fact, there are something called hidden directories or hidden files. We will talk about it. Don't worry. I mean, we don't use much. If I wanted to create a directory, created a directory which is not showing in the regular read. But if I wanted to create a hidden file also, touch is a command to create a file. So you going to use dot file 200 something, file 200. It won't show up in the list, in fact. But when I read LSFNLA, I can read that file touch 200 here. So in the previous list, it is not showing, but now it is showing up. It is a hidden file. This is a hidden directory. Okay, that's there. This is about the ls, guys, listing the files that you have. Hidden files or file details in detail, lsfnl and all that. Make directory. It is simply that you wanted to create the directories, you can do this. Okay, if I wanted to create mkdir data 10 log 10 temp 10 example. So you can create multiple directories also. mkdir, I wanted to create these many directories. I'm just hitting the command. Now you can find all of them. Data 10. Oh, where is the data 10? It should be somewhere. Here it is. Data 10, log 10, and temp 10 somewhere. Here it is. All got created with one command. So if you wanted to create the directories, they are empty directories in fact. They don't create with some data. They will create with the empty directories, and then after that you load whatever you wanted to inside the directories. Other than that, with the make directory, you don't do anything at all. Just creating the new empty directories. That's it. Make directory, it'll just create a new empty directory. That's it. Nothing else. And cd is very, very important for us. Call directory or change directory, the full form, we'll call it as either you call it or change it, whatever it is, both are same. So I wanted to enter into SQLDB directory for some reason. Okay, so if I go to cd SQL, I'm typing SQL tab, it is resolving the name. If you look at this one, this is also important. When the files are too big, you cannot type the entire file name. I'm just typing with SQL and hit tab. It is resolving the files. It is resolving the file. So here, one more thing. Is Venkat is in the class? He was asking some question someday. I'll rectify his doubt. He was asking. So SQL DBA 10 slash means is here. You are calling a directory where you are connected from. I'm into what directory right now? Home directory. In this directory, I have a subdirectory. This is a subdirectory, you can say. I wanted to enter into this. So when I do this one, the slash is coming at the end, not in the beginning. If I'm giving in the beginning here, right, what it says, it is going as a file system. This will confuse you right now. Let me do that. df-h, df-h. If you disk file system, in the sense that it is equivalent to, you go to your OS, you'll find C drive, D drive, E drive and all that, right? These are all your disk file system, disks. In fact, in the Unix, you will find the file system like this: dev, dev, dev everywhere. So if you look at this one, this is also one file system, this is one file system, this is one file system. These are all default file systems anyway. We will create our own file systems to install the product in the real time. They'll give a different mount point. In SQL environment, what do? We don't use a C drive for installation. One data drive, one log drive, one temp drive, one install drive if required. so that we will separate it out. Here also, we don't use these directories for any installation. We will get our own user defined file system with a sufficient storage. There you can run your product, in fact. But what I wanted to conclude here is, guys, if you are connecting to a file system starts with the first slash cd var. If I'm giving it var, I don't call directly var here. I have to call file system slash var, first slash, which means you are connecting to a file system. You are connecting to a drive, equivalent to a drive in Windows. If you are connecting to a drive, you have to connect like this. You are switching the drive to drive. You have to give the first slash, means you're going to the different mount point, different volume, in fact. That is called first slash var. And if I let me do this. If I do this one, if I hit enter, I'm into var directory. Okay. If I go and check here, there are many directories again. Here I don't give a slash to call the directory. I'll give the directory name straight away. Okay. This was the doubt asked by Venkat so before, so that's why I'm clearing this for him, for everyone. CD means a call directory or change directory. When you are calling a directory, if you are giving first slash and the directory name, that means that is a new volume you are entering into. If you are just calling a directory name, means you are in already into volume, you are calling one of the directory inside in it. So that's the difference. Did you get this, Venkat? What is the first slash and last slash?
Yes, Ravinder.
Yeah, this is what is the difference. It's simple, but yeah. So this is also valid doubt. That's why I'm covering it here. Okay.
Okay.
So now I'm where I'm right now. Present working directory var MongoDB. Okay. Inside it, do we have any directories? We do have CD data. Where I'm right now again, if I wanted to verify, var MongoDB data. Like this, you can browse directory by directory. The levels what you go. This is also another directory, right? CD journal. Actually, this is, you cannot read it. This is a system defined log file, Mongo log file. We're going to talk about this in our course in architecture. We'll see this Mongo database log file. So you cannot just read it straight away without root privilege. You should be either owner or group owner, either of it to get into the directory. We'll see that. So what I mean here, guys, I browsed into var to MongoDB to data. So now if I wanted to go back, if it is a Windows, what do we do? I'll go inside in it, something like this, VMs, and then I'll go to here, something like this. If I go back, then I'll switch back like this, one by one. I can go back. The same way here also, if you wanted to go back a directory, one directory, cd dot dot. If I give cd dot dot, it will take you to one directory back. You can see this. I was in var MongoDB data. Now I'm into the var Mongo. If I wanted to go one more directory, cd dot dot, then I'll be in a var directory now. See, like this. So if I give cd dot, it will take me to my home directory, not to the previous directory. It will take directly to your home directory. So if I do this one, just a cd, in fact, not cd dot. So cd, if you just give it without anything, it will take you to home directory. Wherever you are connected, doesn't matter. It directly take back to your home directory. cd, that's it. With if I cd dot dot can be used in different ways. Let's see it, because we use it in a different ways. So clear the screen, lsfnl. I have these many directories. If I go here, sqldba 10, okay, here I don't have anything. I'll make one directory, mkdir data. Inside the data again, mkdir sample. So again sample. So where I am right now, I am into 4 directories. Home, Ravinder, SQLDB, and SQLDB, I created directory called data. I entered into it again. Inside the data directory, I created sample. I entered into that one also, like this. So if I wanted to go one directory, cd dot dot. If I wanted to go back to SQLDB, cd dot dot slash dot dot. 2 directories back at a time. If I go to here, I can check PWD. I moved from sample, moved from data and landed into here because I set to the command one directory and second directory. Two directories I wanted to move back at one go. And then if example, let me do this one again, very useful this thing. If I go to data again, so lsfnl, there is only one directory, cd data, and here also we have only one file called sample, cd sample. Okay, now I'm into this directory. Now lsfnl, you don't have anything. I'm connected to the directory called this, but I wanted to execute a command on this directory. How do I do that? mkdir, I wanted to create a directory in the SQL DBA 10 directory, though I'm sitting in this one. So cd dot dot slash cd dot dot, it will take the command there. Just make directory it works or not. Let's see. Lab 100. It is not taking, it is only for the cd, it seems. Yeah, thought of checking it anyway. File exists. Okay, it is saying exist. In fact, cannot create the directory file exist. It's not moving there. Okay, fine. Generally we can give a directory path mkdir example, mkdir where MongoDB, sorry, home. I can give absolute path, and then what was that, SQLDBA, right? Here I'm creating a called directory. See where I'm connected right now. One thing, this also you can do it, remote work. I'm connected to data sample, but I wanted to create a directory in this one, so I'll give absolute path. Okay, so mkdir slash home Ravinder, and then SQLDBA. Under that, I wanted to create a new directory called testing 100 something. So this command, though you are sitting in this directory, as you gave the path where it has to create, it went to this directory, it created a new directory called here testing 100. So if I go back cd dot dot cd dot dot, sorry, cd dot dot slash dot dot, if I go and check here, I'll find the file called testing 100. Yeah, see. So how you call the directory, how you use the directory is very important. Getting into the directory one by one, it is very easy. You can also work on absolute with the absolute path wherever you are connected, doesn't matter. If I don't use absolute path, if I'm trying to create a make directory, where it will create under sample directory only, where you are connected. But I connected here inside in it, but I wanted to create a directory here. I gave the absolute path, complete path here, and then I created a folder, and then there it got created a folder. Simply mkdir creates the empty directories. That's it. But how you create, where you create, is something is required based on the requirement. Okay, that is called make directory and call directory. Calling the directory, browsing the directory. Generally, file cannot be browsable. It only browse the directories. How you browse the directory? CD and the entire. See, right now if I go to directly home, CD, which means I'll enter into home. I'll use where use cd SQL DBA folder, data folder, sample folder. I can hit enter. It will take me directly there. All the folders ahead. If you know the entire route, the structure, how you connect, you can just type like that. If you don't know all the structure, then how you do? One by one. cd SQL DBA, then lsfnl again, and then again data, and inside lsfnl again you go with the one by one like this. Either you read one by one or you go to the directory straight away if you know the structure of the file system already defined. That way cd dot dot will take you one directory back, again multiple directories. I can go up, I can go back, so 3 directories back. So 1 2 3, so I came back directly here, 3 directories backward. So like this you can use a call directory. Then remove directory. Remove directory is very important to understand, especially empty directories. You cannot RMDAR, remove directory, SQL DBA example, 10. If I hit it, directory is not empty. So if I go to data 10, it is empty directory. I know that I just created, right? If I use RMDAR data 10, it is gone. The directory is deleted. Data 10 is gone. It was there before, now it is not there anymore. It got removed. So RMDR generally deletes the empty directories. Empty means the directory what you're trying to delete should not have anything in it. It is empty. Then you can delete this. But if the directory already has some data into it, how do I delete? How do you delete, in fact? That's the point. So if I want to delete this directory, RM means remove forcibly with force, recursively means folders, subfolders, child folders, like that. You have a entire lot of subsystems in it, subfolders in it. You have to go inside the directory, recursively go inside the tree and delete all the files under it and delete the parent directory at the end. So recursive force, don't ask me whether you want to delete or not. If you don't use a force, sometimes they'll ask, are you sure you wanted to delete this folder? For every file or folder, it'll ask you, are you sure you want to delete this? Don't ask me that. Just straight away clean everything inside in it. At the end, delete the SQLDB folder, what you have here. So whenever a directory is not empty, you have to use this one, rm-rf recursive force, and delete this. This is very dangerous command. In Windows, if you delete the files, just delete, it will be available in the recycle bin. In Unix flavors, there is no recycle bin concept if you delete it. If you have the backup system, maybe you can recover through the snapshots, you can do something else, but recovering is not possible. Just Windows, just like Windows, if you delete, even Windows also, you do the shift to delete, then you cannot recover it, in fact. But here, uh, you have to be very careful when you are removing it. You have to double check, triple check, which is okay. But before removal, just careful where you connected and which files you are deleting, and after approvals, are you are deleting the right file, right directory or not. Very careful. There is no by default recovery for it if you delete it. Okay. rm-r rf recursive force. Recursive means recursively go inside it, subdirectories, shell directories, entire root, the file system, whatever you have it, delete it all. So now if I go here, the entire SQLDB directory is gone. It has having a data sample inside in it. We created, right, some directories. So subdirectories, files, everything will be gone with RMF and RF. But this one is very careful. You have to be very careful. I have written this. Be careful before removing the directories or files. You remove non-empty directories. You use RMF and RF directory name. If you wanted to just delete the file name, just a file name, it is not a recursive. Okay. rm the file name, that's it. Force is all. If you wanted to keep force, keep it. I mean, if I'm deleting it, it'll straight away delete because I am the owner of it. If I go with the different user privileges, maybe that time it'll ask, are you sure you want to delete this kind of? Then you don't want to see that message, then use the rm-f and the file name. It will just delete the files forcibly. Okay. So removing a file is straightforward. rm the file name. If you wanted to delete non-empty directory, rm minus rf hyphen r minus, whatever you call it, hyphen we'll call it generally, rm hyphen rf the directory name. It will go recursively and delete entire the content of the directory. At the end, parent directory also will be deleted. That's how you delete the empty directories, non-empty directories. Removing a file, just I'll give this one, don't worry. rm hyphen file name. Hyphen f is not required. File name. This will delete the file. Will delete file. Okay, fine. Next, move. Move is something is like a cut paste. Move is just like cut paste. So it can be used, example, simple. It will be used in different ways. I'll talk about that. Clear the screen, LSFNL. So I have a file called file20. I wanted to rename it MV file20 to file100. So you have the source and target within the directory. See, I wanted to move file name from file20 to file200. If I hit it, the file got renamed. You can see it. File 20 was renamed to file 200. File 220 is not available anymore. It got renamed. Content will be retained. You don't lose the content. You are renaming the file name itself. I wanted to rename the Mongo log for some reason. Okay. Mongo log to Mongo, just to Mongo. If I go check this one, Mongo log rename to just Mongo. We have one more anyway. It's lowercase, it's uppercase. It is accepted because it is a case sensitive. Lowercase, uppercase is also different name for it because it's a case sensitive. So Mongo log got renamed to Mongo. As you have two names, again I wanted to rename. Just assume a case. Mongo, I wanted to rename to Mongo test. Now the uppercase Mongo turned into Mongo test, where it is. Do we had a Mongo test already? Here it is. Yeah, here it is. It got renamed. Is it clear? Renaming a file, renaming a directory. You can use it. The problem here is if I have file 2 renamed to file 3, what happens? This is another problem you have to understand. So let's read that. Cat is a command to read the file, file 2. File 2 has this data. File 3 has 1, 2, 3 up to 10. File 2 has all this. So now let's FNL. Move file 2 to file 3. What happens? What do you think? If I use this one, the file 2 will override the file 3. So if I read the cat file 3, it will have the file 2 data. File 3 data was lost. It will override the file. You have to be very careful. When you are renaming a file, if I am not sure that there is a target file exists already, this file got renamed to this. This content will be carried with this name. Whatever the data was there on the target file, it exists already, the data was lost. It is overwritten and renamed with that name, with the content of this file, source file. So you have to be careful when you are moving a file where you are moving it. I mean, it is a rename or entirely moving it to one different directory. So move will be used to rename a directory, renaming a file. That is one thing. You wanted to move these files into log directory. These two files you don't want here. You wanted to move here. Sorry. File 200 wanted to move to log directory. It is a directory. If I hit it, what happens? It is gone. Where it is gone? It went inside the log directory. It is a directory. If it would have been a file, it would have been renamed, but it is a directory. So what it did, it cut the file and pasted inside in it. If I use the file 3 also same way, move file 3 and log. That file also is gone from there. Where they have gone? They have gone into inside the log directory. See here, file 200 and file 3, which means you moved the file from the source directory to target directory. You moved it. So that way you can move anywhere to. I wanted to move to log, I moved it here. If I wanted to move to different directory altogether, temp directory, maybe videos directory, I can move it anywhere. If example, this is a good thing. I don't want to keep these files here. Move file asterisk, because both the files are starting with asterisk, right? Starting with asterisk, right? So now what I'm going to, where I wanted to move these files, I wanted to move into temp10 directory, temp10 directory. So I'll go with the like this, home slash Ravinder slash temp10. If I hit this one, files where I was here, the files have been moved to where? To this directory. Both the files got moved with one go. Why? Because you gave the wildcard mask there. If I give this one insert, I will see that files on the target. See, the files got migrated. It's migrated. It's like cut paste equivalent to. So move will do two jobs, not one. Two jobs. Renaming a file or directory, or moving a file from one directory to other directory, or moving a directory itself to other directory. That is also possible. Is it clear? Yes or no? I mean, if you're not clear, please let me know. This is a very basic command you need to know. Please open up, guys, if you don't understand. Why? Because you are from people are absolutely non-Linux people, right? So if you have any question, please just let me know. I'm mute to go to my screen is very small, unable to view the command properly. Banu, you have to close. I mean, at the middle of the screen, you will find one button, or else drag it up. Drag it up, it will become full screen. Is that clear, Banu? The screen issue for you?
No, can you get me or
I can hear you. What you have to do, you have to drag the screen up upside. Just drag it. It will become big. His problem is, guys, he's not able to see the full screen. He's seeing the screen very small. So just drag it. Nothing else. At the top, just hold it and drag it. It will become big.
no? It's not it.
Maybe your screen resolution issue, most probably. It will work that way. For all, it is not the issue, right? For all, fine. So move will work that way, guys. Rename a file or directory, or moving a file or directory to target directory. Either of it is. It can be used in two ways. Then copy. Okay, let's go with ls. We have talked about listing the files, and we're going to talk about touch. What is a touch? Touch is just a command to create the empty files. In fact, nothing else. If I here I do have two files, I wanted to create a new file called temp. File name is tempo10, temp 200, temp 300. I'm creating multiple empty files at the moment. So now if you go and check lsfnl, you will find these many files created. They are empty, 0 bytes. You see, there are empty files. They are the files. How do I say file? It is starting with hyphen in the beginning, right? These are all empty files. Using the touch command, you can you can create the empty files. That nothing else other with that command. You don't do anything other than that. Okay, fine. VI editor. This is important. VI editor. So just let me know, guys, if you have questions, and don't keep it yourself. These are all basic things you need to know it. If you get anything into your mind, please let me know if you are not clear about it. VI editor. VI editor is such an important thing. We have to change the Mongo configurations. We use the VI editor only. Adding the security, adding the cluster group, adding the encryptions, adding the sharding to the configuration. Once the Mongo is up, you do through the VI only. Okay, VI is such an important thing for us to modify the file content. So how exactly it works? Let's see it. I'm into home run in the temp10. Where I am doesn't matter. I want VI file 3. So I'm editing the file content if the file already have some data. VI file 3. VI file 3 has some data. How do I say? The size of it has some size, which means it has some data. So VI, the file name, it will open it. This is the content it has. This file has, this is a file 3, it has a 24 lines and 184 characters. If you count all these 24 lines, 180, it is giving the file details when you open. File name, number of lines in the file, number of characters in the file. If you wanted to modify it, you have to hit I. I means insert mode. You look at this at the bottom. If I'm hitting I, it turned into insert mode when I hit I. Then I can modify this file. If I want to delete this, I don't want this, doesn't make any sense for me. Example, I want to just delete it. Everything. This is a new content added to demonstrate VI mode, VI editor mode, VI editor, whatever it is, VI editor. Something I added. I modified the content. I hit the escape. When I hit the escape, insert mode is see. If I hit I came to insert mode. To go out of insert mode, I have to hit the escape command, escape button, escape, it is gone. Then colon W Q exclamatory. W means save, Q means quit. When you keep this colon, W means save, Q hyphen the exclamatory means is a quit. So save it and quit it. So now if I go and read the file size, it would have been reduced. Previously it was 184 bytes, now it is 53 bytes only because I modified the content of the file. In fact, right? If I go and read the file 3, I'll have this content which I modified, right? So VI editor will be used to modify the content of existing files. If I'm trying to do file 20, do I have file 20 here? I don't have file 20. If I give VI file 20, it will create the file on the fly. It does not have anything. It is a new file. See, file 20 is a new file. It does not have any statistics because it is a new file. I'll enter into insert mode. This is a new file created just now, whatever it is. I'm just keeping some data and then saving it. So now if I go and check, file 20 will exist. It was not there before. VI editor will create the file on the fly. It will take the input. VI editor can open the existing file and take the input, what you're asking. So either of it is. So one more thing, what you wanted, VI file 20. I have this data. Now I'm going to insert mode. This file is a file 20. It has a 4 lines, 49 characters. Insert mode. Here I'm modifying it. I modified escape colon Q exclamatory. I'm not giving W, which means the modified, whatever the content I modified, that won't get saved. That won't get saved. You will see the data as it is. I deleted that, but still it did not get saved because when I exited the VI window, VI editor, I did not use a W. If I use a escape colon WQ exclamatory, then it will save when it is quitting. As W is not used, it did not save it. So that's why whenever you are modifying a file content, get into the insert mode and modify whatever you wanted to modify. Once you modify, you have to save it. How do I save it? Escape mode colon W. W will save it. Q exclamatory will quit. Save and quit. That's what you're asking. So if I hit here, if I hit cat file 20, now it got deleted. That what was it deleted? Why? Because I saved it and quit the file. Is that clear? VI editor will modify the existing content of the file, or it will create a new file and take the input. Either of it is. You can do both. So in anything you wanted to modify, you will use VI only all the time. That is what I use it. Okay. So there will be operating system to operating system. Editors might change. Vim editors and VI editor. There is a different editors with a different operating. That command you have to use it. Nothing else. The whatever we do here, everywhere it is same. Maybe editors can change. This is about the VI editor. Let's talk about the cat. Cat is a command to read the content of the file. See, I was using the cat here already. I was using the cat before also many times. So example, VI file 20 again, insert mode, just to have more lines. Okay, something like this. Maybe if it is loading in a single line, you don't realize it. That's why. So cat 20, it is reading the content of the file. It is reading the content of the file. It is not only will do that, it does many things in fact. So file 20, I wanted to read this file and load into different file. I'll redirect the output of this file into different file, which does not exist at all. File 100, file 100, it does not exist. But what I'm asking the command is, read this, and whatever this has the content, redirect that content into this file. It is equivalent to a copy, in fact. So if I hit it, if I go and check, there is a file 200. It was not there before. So if I go and check the file 200, it has the file 20, whatever it was having it. Cat. So this way. What I used, file 22, file 100. Sorry, not 200. Come on, sorry. Right. This is the one. So cat can be used to read the file. Cat can be used redirect the file of one file to other file. That other file does not exist, it will create the file automatically, load this file content. It is equivalent to copy, of course. But why do I have to use a copy? I have the copy option CP and then copy it. Why I have to use a cat? It is a heavy operation. In fact, CP is a good thing. Instead of redirecting one file copy to other file, that is heavy operation on the system. It will copy line by line. Like it will move the line. It will make the file line by line when it has the content. Cat, you should not do it. In fact, but cat can be used in different ways. In fact, how different ways? See, example. Let me show you. The example is this is the best use case I can say. VI file one. File one, you don't have it. Insert mode. 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. VI file 2. Oh, sorry. VI file 2. Insert mode here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I have file 1, file 2. Both are different contents, right? Both are different contents. Cat file 1 is 1 to 5. Cat file 2, 6 to 10. I wanted to merge these two files. This is where this command comes in handy. In fact, merging the files. Okay. Copying the content, cat is heavy operation. You should not choose it. If you have a very bulk data, it is going to create heavy load on the system. In fact, you should not do that. But here, if I wanted to merge this file 1, file 2, then what I'll do, cat file 1, I'm redirecting this to new file in fact, okay, or else I can merge file 1 data with the file 2 directly straight away. So file 1 append, double arrow means append, not overwrite. So let's cover overwrite concept. That also you should be clear about it. File 3, cat file 3, I have this content. What, this is a new content added to demonstrate via it or something in the file 3. In the file 1 you have 1 to 5. So if I wanted to overwrite file 1 data with the file 3, you should not use copy, itself will do that. Cat file 1 redirect the output to file 3. So what does it do? It will take the content of this file, override with the file 3. It's recreating equivalent to. If I hit it, file 3 data will be equivalent to file 1. Why? Because you redirected it. The content of the file 3 is got overwritten. Single arrow means if this file has some data, it will load away here. It is empty. This target file does not exist. It will create the file and load the content of this file here. Even if it has some file, some data, this content will overwrite here automatically. Okay, but I don't want that. I want it to append it. It should not hold, it should not overwrite. Whatever the data it has, it should keep as it is and append this file data. So that is where this comes into picture. Cat file 3, cat file 2, 6 to 10, cat file 1, 1 to 5. Now cat file 1 append double arrow file 2. It is appended. It is appended the values. Go to file 2. You'll find 6, 7, 10 up to and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Both the files got merged. Both the files got merged. Is it clear? Cat can be used to read. Cat can be used to redirect the content of the file to target file with the overwrite or create a new file. Or cat can be used to merge the two files data into one file. You guys following these statements? Say something. I mean,
Oh,
if
yes.
you don't follow it, following, right?
Yeah.
These are all very basics. Why I'm taking you through all these basics? These are all going to be used, these commands. So you should be aware of. I'm going to redirect multiple files in the course. In fact, we have to do that using cat command, output of this file into a different file. And why do we do that? We will talk about, but we do it for certain reasons in the course. So you should know that merging the files and outputting one file into another file, config files. I wanted to build config files, multiple copy of it. You can do that using the cat RCP. Next, tac. Actually, one more thing we can do with that cat command. We generally don't do it, but awareness, I'm just discussing it. Cat, and I'm giving the input and the file name. Let's go to here. We have a lot of files here. I'll clear all them. Maybe temp rm-rf. Okay, rf is not required. Just f and temp asterisk. All the files will be gone. Whichever is starting with the whichever is matching with the temp. If I give file asterisk, all will be gone. That I don't want. But if I use this thing, file 20 asterisk, then how many files will go? If I run that command, how many files will delete? Or else instead of that, I'll give 2 asterisk. How many files will delete? It's a question.
3.
3 files. Nice. Why 3? In fact, means it is how many files are matching with file 2? This one, this one, this one. After file 2, what is there? It doesn't matter. It is asterisk, or you can say star or whatever you can say. It is asterisk. So which means all the names which are matching with up to file 2 will be deleted. After that, whatever is, it doesn't matter. Okay. So now, if I go and read file 3, this content is there. Now this content is very big. In fact, I wanted to copy this, okay, and go to file 4. File 4, cat will open a file, create and open a file. It does not edit. It will open a new file. I'll paste the content what I wanted to paste, and then Control C. That's it. If I go and read the file 4, cat file 4, it has the data. Cat can be used to create a new file and load the data also, not modification. It does not do the modification, but it can load the data. It can load the data into a file. It is possible. You can input the data also. See, cat file 4 has the data. These use cases you need to know, just for the awareness I'm discussing as a basic thing. If I use cat file 4, it is actually entered some data. I'm going to with the cat 4 file 4 again. It will overwrite the data. So here, this is a new entry made through cat command, whatever it is. I'm just giving it and then Control C out of it. Now if I go and see file 4, I'll have this. It is overwritten. It took the input. It is not modified. It is not a modification. Modification means you are adding the content to existing thing as you needed. Here it is not as you needed. If you are giving cat file 4 again, it will overwrite the file 4 again. It takes a new input again, entirely different. So if I'm giving 1, and coming out, file 4 will have only one inside in it. The one number, I mean, file 4, yeah, cat file 4. It has only one because it got overwritten again. So cat can be used to read. Cat can be used to redirect the content into a file, a new file or existing file to overwrite it. Cat can be used to append the file, one file to other file. Cat can be, usually you can load the data into new file. It is always new file. Even you have an existing file, it will overwrite. So at what situation you use it, it is anyway, like you open the vi and copy paste, that also equivalent. Just cat and then open the file and paste it and close, that also equivalent. Use anything that you really wanted. You just need to know the use case, that's it. You need to know how you can use it, right? That is what it is. About the cat is over. Any question, let me know. Cat file 1, this is the data. There is a command called tac. Tac, reverse of cat. See, TAC, CAT. Tac will read the data from bottom to up. Come on, what the heck? File 1, right? Tac file 1. Right. 543. It is reading the file in the reverse order. That is the best word I can say. Bottom to up. Bottom, it is reading the data from bottom to up. So bottom one first, next bottom, then next first, like that in the reverse order. Data will be read in the reverse order with the tac. Cat will read from the top to bottom. Tac will read the data from bottom to top. So that is the only difference, nothing else. So that is a tac command. Cat and tac. CP. CP is a copy command. So LSF and L. CP file 1 to file 4. Actually, it should not overwrite because you are the owner of the file. It is overwriting straight away. So it is copied. In fact, file 1 data, cat file 1, cat file 4 will be same now because it is copied. So CP will overwrite the target file also if you have it, because you are the owner of it. It is not asking. If you go with a different user, sudo over privilege and all that, it will ask you that your file exists, do you want it to overwrite, kind of. Okay. So CP file 1 to file 10, it is just copying the content. It is not touching the source, rather it just copying it. File 1 to file 10, it is copied. It is keeping the source. Move, it will not keep. It is equivalent to cut paste. It is renaming it. Here copying it. You can copy within the directory or target any other directory also. So where I am right now, into cd temp. So I wanted to copy file 1, cd let's see what we have. We have I was in temp, right? Temp 10. So I wanted to copy temp from the temp 10, a file called, I can directly do this, cp, okay, temp 10 and the file 1. File 1 I wanted to copy. Where I wanted to copy? To this directory, okay, as file 1. So now you'll get the file 1. What this command did is, it went into temp directory, it copied the file 1 to the current directory here, because it did not mention the directory before. So you can see the file here in the current directory. Cat file 1, you got the content of the file 1 from this directory file to local directory. It went into remote directory, copied this file as a file 1 here. You can copy with any name, in fact. You don't have to name the as it is one. You can give anything, in fact. So the same command, if I wanted to give file 10, it does the job again. So cat file 10, you'll have it. All right. Yeah. So this can be very basic for a few of the people who are working. Just bear with me one more class. We'll catch up with the speed of the, towards the product anyway. Move command I discussed already. Move can be used renaming the file, renaming the directories. and moving the files one directory to other directory, or moving the directory itself to one directory to other directory, you can use a move option. In fact, remove will be used to delete the files and the non-empty directories. Two things: just rm, the file name, you can delete the file name. rm-r, the directory name, it will recursively delete the content of the directory. Or else rm-rf means forcibly, without asking yes or no, it will delete entire directory with rm. wc is useful. Word count, in fact this I use many times for the Mongo troubleshooting. Okay, where, let me see where MongoDB log, I have the file here. I cannot read this file directly. There is a permission denied. I'll talk about the permissions tomorrow class. Entire tomorrow class dedicated for the permission only. So if I wanted to use sudo, I'm using my sudo privilege. I'm the sudo user. I can use my sudo privilege. How do you say that you are sudo user? I'll tell you tomorrow, not today, because it's about the permissions. So I'm reading this. I need to supply my password to verify I'm a sudo or not. Right. These many entries are there in this file. Okay. These many entries are there in that file. I wanted to know how big this file is, in fact, before I read it. Sudo wc mongo log. So this has a 62 lines, 833 words, 8671 characters in the entire file. So 62 lines I can read it. Mongo log file in the real time will be thousands of lines, you will see it in the real time, because many events will generate. Creating a collection, dropping a collection, any major events will record here only. Rebuilding index, recreating index, everything will load here. In fact, there is a huge log it will generate in the log file, Mongo log file. We'll talk about how you manage it also in the course. But now what I wanted to, if it is too big one, if I'm reading everything, it is going to create the mess. It is going to take all the resources. Before it, I'll read it. I'll read how many lines the file has. It will not read the file to get this. It will go to the inode of the file, and read the number of lines, number of characters, number of words into from that file. Okay, it will go to index of the file and get these values, index of the file, in fact. So fine, this is a quick and good to know it. So now if I wanted to know, example, this is very good this way, ps-f, this is loading all the default sessions which are running on the OS. You see this one, default sessions. If I go to the task manager in the Windows platform, right, in the services section, these are all services running on the machine. These are all services. They are running, stopping, whatever it is you find the status, but these are all there on the machine. If you go to process, these are all active sessions anyway. These are all running programs on my machine right now, out of all. And the Unix flavor also, ps-ef, which will give all the sessions. How do I know how many sessions are here? I don't know, right? I don't know how many processes, number of processes. Then you will use this pipe, send output, and the count the number of lines. Total 143 sessions we have. It is a file. These are all like a file. It is sending this as a file to this command. This command finding the number of lines in this file, whatever it is coming as a result of this. So total 143 sessions running on my server, I can say that. So wc used in many ways, in fact, not just like counting one particular file. Anything you wanted to know the count in number of lines, number of characters, number of characters, number of words, you don't see anywhere. It's not required as a use case at all, but number of lines, yes, we need it. Number of lines, we need it. It's useful for many reasons, in fact. Okay, so I can say that 143. Number of files, how many files you have in the current directory, I don't know. Example, let's see, I mean, where I'm right now, I'm into this. I will go to home directory, lsf and la, have these many files. But how do I count? Manually do I count? No, I don't. I wanted to know the number of count. I don't know. wcf and l. Total 46 files and directories together, entries. It is not a file. It is not entire files. Directories all together 46, including hidden files. If I don't include the hidden files, normal files, how many files I have it? 22. Total, how many hidden files I have? By looking at this, I can say that these many hidden files, out of these 22 are not hidden. So if you subtract this, 24 are the hidden files. You can say that way. So this command is used in a many different ways. Just for the understanding sake, I'm discussing. Okay, fine. So let's move with the other command. LSF and L use for that. Many ways we use it. Head, reading the content. So again, I'll go to there only because it has some data. Here I have the Mongo log, cat, head, file name. It will read the first 10 lines. Oh, sorry. Cat, you should not use it. Sudo. Head itself is a cat here for us. It will read the first 10 lines from the file, top 10 lines from the file, top 10. I mean, the beginning of the line of the file, top 10. If I wanted to use, if I wanted to read more lines, hyphen 20. If I give hyphen 20, 20 lines it will read. You can give it. So how many lines you wanted to read from the file, you can give it. Generally, cat will read entire file. I don't want that. Only 10 files, 10 lines from the top is enough for me. I can read it. I can go with the here 30 lines. It will just read 30 lines. The number what you give it, that many lines from the top of the file it will read. Okay. There is a one more command called tail. Tail is opposite. It will read from the bottom. Head will read from the top. Tail will read from the bottom. Tail, the file name, it will read the bottommost 10 lines. So tail we use it all the time for Mongo troubleshooting, because we read from the bottom of the Mongo log file to find what the potential issues are in fact. Okay, so here if I go to if I want to read bottommost 20 lines, it will read bottommost 20 lines this way. Topmost, bottommost, we use tail a lot for Mongo troubleshooting. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about when the product runs. Tail, because we need to read the latest logs. Latest logs of the Mongo will load at the bottom of the file. At the bottom of the file. Okay. Head to tail will be used for that purpose. Head will read the top 10 lines by default. Tail will read the bottom 10 lines by default. If you wanted to read more lines from the bottom, use the number. Just I gave you 15 here. You can give any number. It will read that many lines from the bottom or top. Head for the top, tail for the bottom. Any questions? Fine. Less more. Less more, when you have a huge file, very huge file, sudo less mongo, it is reading the file page by page. It is reached the end anyway. It does not have a great data into it. You'll read the file page by page, and you'll read the file line by line also. Both are possible. Line by line you can read it. Line by line you can read it with upward arrow, downward arrow. Okay, and then if you wanted to go back page by page also, you can go back. It is a small file. In fact, I want a big file to know this. Quit. Enter Q to quit it to the read operation. It has a less data, that's why I could not show you well this command. What is the huge file I have? I don't have it, I guess I cleaned up recently. Anyway, here less means it will read the data line by line, page by page. You can read it. Two things: line by line, page by page. More option. Less means the advantage of the less is you can read line by line. Page by page you can read in more also. Sudo more, the file name. The advantage of this file is how much you read already. You cannot read line by line. Upward arrow, downward arrow does not work here. Okay. page by page. Hit tab, it will read page by page and then come out of the file. So when you're reading, how much percent you read already, it will tell you the percentage. That's a good advantage. With a less, you don't know how much percentage, how much long it is going to take to read the entire file. Why? Because when you know the percentage, you get to know, okay, I read 53% with one window. Other window, it will close the file. If it is reading 20% in one window, in 5 windows, if I hit 5 times tab, I read the entire file. I get an estimation. We use more than less mostly. I mean, we use more command than the less command in the real world, because it gives a percentage of the file when you're reading it. That's a good thing. And it will read page by page. That's enough. Line by line is not required. If I hit tab, it will go to the next screen. Next lines it will load. Next immediate lines. Till the time whatever it is shown, from the next line, one more screen, one more screen. That way, you cannot read line by line. Page by page, you can read it. You can go by, you can go back. Control B will take you back. One page back, even in the more and less also. So the advantage with this one is you can find the percentage of the file read. Advantage of this one is read the file line by line. So the more will be used more than the less in the real world. Okay, these commands are very basic. You need to have a good command all about these commands. Very good command. You have to practice it, what I am discussing here, right? Next we'll touch base all the permissions. Permissions are very important again. I mean, whatever I kept here are everything is important. You should know this to work on as a DBA. You don't have to learn everything that Linux has, but you have to learn what I'm going to discuss in the class to manage the product and the platform. Okay, because it is running on the platform, we are learning platform first, then we'll enter into the product anyway. But how do you install, how it builds the files, how do you read it, how you move the files, how do you modify the content? These are all important. So this is all we are learning it right now. And all these commands across the platform, it is same. Like you have Ubuntu, you have CentOS, you have Amazon, you have Oracle, Unix. Yeah, there are many flavors. All flavors, you can. These commands are same across the platforms. So if you know this, you can manage almost all the things. Only few things here and there will be different. You can easily catch. In fact, okay. So any questions from today's discussion? Please let me know. I mean, don't keep quiet if you don't understand something. It's very important. You just follow it. I mean, I'm okay to answer any silly question, but you have to come up with it, please. So we're done for today. I'll start the permission set tomorrow. That is a topic which I need to start and end so that you understand. If I start and leave it in middle, you don't understand. So we'll take entire class tomorrow in the permission set. Any questions before I stop the recording? Yeah, go ahead. Banu. Banu, you have a question?
Yeah, can I share my screen once?
You want to share your
You have to
screen?
give permission. Yeah, once.
It's about this class or something else? It is recording, so I can stop.
I'm unable to see the font of the commands.
Oh, come on. It's about the screen. Okay, I'm stopping it, John.